Good morning, everyone. I hope you are all doing well.
Morning,
Morning,
sir.
sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning po, sir.
sir.
All right, before we begin, can someone recall what we have discussed in the last meeting? Anyone from the class? I would like to call Mr. Quiroz.
Morning, sir. In our last meeting po, we talked about disaster preparedness po. Like what to do before an earthquake po and typhoons. Thank you, sir.
Okay, excellent. Next, can someone tell me their insights of what to do before a natural disaster occurs?
Good morning po, sir. For me, it's best to plan ahead with your family about the things we should do in case a natural disaster occurs, like identifying the nearest evacuation center.
Very well said, Mr. Silverio. Let's have a grip on that. Next, can someone tell me an example of what to do during a natural disaster?
Hello, sir. Good morning po. For me, always have a plan, and if it happens unexpectedly, go to the safest area in your home po, sir.
Okay, thank you for answering, class. So now let's move on and expound the topic of disaster preparedness. Today, we'll be talking about disaster preparedness. First, let us define what a disaster is. Disasters are events caused by natural phenomena such as volcanic eruptions, typhoons, flooding, earthquakes, hurricanes, and landslides. Disasters occur when hazards meet vulnerability. These are events that humans cannot avoid. However, it is possible that when disaster occurs, we can prepare for it. Now, do any of you know what kind of disasters are common here in the Philippines?
Sir, good morning. I think the common disasters here in the Philippines are typhoons, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions.
Very good. Now, can anyone tell me what is the most memorable disaster that they have experienced? Class? Anyone? Yes, Mr. Pante? Do you have anything to share?
Yes, sir. It all started in November of 2020. I was in Marikina City with my dog. He was just 6 years old and his name was Alan. When suddenly, the typhoon Ulysses came and the dam in Marikina City started to overflow, which is why the authorities decided to open the dam, then cause a great flood. Later on, we were stranded for 4 days, then caused a staying on rooftops, and during those times, I taught my dog how to swim. So he would drown and we live happily ever after. And that, sir, is my story. That's 1 minute. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Mr. Pante. That was a truly and memorable story. Now, I'll be showing you an infographic that will tackle what to do before, during, and after a disaster.
I'm Ivan Pantoja, the news reporter covering the current weather for today. Earlier this morning, the typhoon Burgir has already entered the Philippine area of responsibilities. We are expecting heavy rains and it's going to be an issue in several areas in the Philippines. We are going to keep you informed and we'll keep monitoring the situation. If the tropical storm happens to drift forward Luzon, these are the things you must do.
How do we keep ourselves safe before a natural disaster? What are the things that you should prepare for? First, make an emergency kit or a go bag and a family emergency plan. Maintain emergency food, water, and other supplies. And keep a list of emergency phone numbers and decide how and where your family will reunite if ever you get separated. In an event of a typhoon, identify the elevation level of your property and whether the land is flood prone in order to prepare yourselves in case of flooding. You should evacuate if you live on the coast, floodplain, near a river, on an island waterway, or if you live in low-lying areas to higher grounds. And please evacuate as soon as possible if local authorities direct you to do so. Establishing a household evacuation plan that includes bets for the family to know the nearest exit points and safest routes within the house or building. And knowing if your community lives near an active volcano, fault line, and in an underlying area that is prone to flooding is a sign of awareness. And lastly, always stay informed about the community's risk and response plans.
How do we keep ourselves safe during a natural disaster? What should we do during a natural disaster? Well, first we must listen to the radio or television for information. Avoid standing near windows and glass doors. But during an earthquake, if you're indoors, stay inside and take cover under a table, desk, or other sturdy furniture. Keep listening to the radio or television for updates if there is sudden evacuation in a certain area. Remember to close and lock doors and windows. Organize an emergency supply kit and make sure that the family members knows where they are located. Bring your pets and additional food and water for them too. Stay out of restricted zones, and finally, listen to your authorities for further announcement.
After the disaster, what should we do? You should always plan for evacuation if needed. You should always listen to the authorities if it's safe to return to your homes after the disaster. Next, you should thoroughly check your homes for any structural damage. You should be informed of the situation that happened in your area on any social media platforms or the news. If there's a signal available, do not forget to update your family members on the situation that happened in your area. Finally, if your home has fully recovered, do not hesitate to help the others in the community as well.
So, our class discussion ends here. I hope you will always remember our lesson so that when there are natural disasters that may happen, we are always ready. See you next meeting, class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po, sir. Thank you po.
Thank you po, sir. Thank you.